And every year, rising sea levels are a subject of concern for the people of Odioama Kingdom in Bayelsa State. While lamenting the loss of the land to the encroachment of the sea, the natives call for the intervention of the federal government. Well, Arise correspondent Odioama George reports for Arise News.
Much of Nigeria's population and economic activity are located along the low-lying coastline, including the Niger Delta. Strategically characterized by lowlands of about 6 meters below sea level, Bayelsa experiences perennial flooding every year. This development is made worse by what experts call global warming in a state where gas flaring and oil exploration activities take place on a daily basis. It appears nature is fighting back after years of neglect and human oppression through the emission of greenhouse gases. It is a 35-minute boat ride from Nembe to Odioama in Brass local government area of Bayelsa State. The kingdom is host to the Odioama Creek Flow Station belonging to ITEO and also the Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company. The kingdom sits by the bank of the St. Nicholas River.
This community community government 1 kilos.
A whaler by the shore suggests that all is not well with the natives of this beautiful island.
I'm homeless. Beg government help us. With the beg government, the town don't finish. Half of the community don't go. When the boy may see this community all year in a forest before, with the plant cassava, they manage ourselves. Now nothing there. So make government help us. This Odioama we don't finish.
Ocean encroachment has greatly affected this community. Where we're standing in the past 20 years ago, here was a very thick forest. People build houses here, but the effect of the ocean encroachment have taken away the houses they built.
The flow tide is always a source of concern for the natives.
Years ago, the bank was far from the spot, but the buildings have been swept away. What is left of my husband's house has been destroyed. With hard labor, canoe carvers earn their pay and build houses here, but all that is gone. Please, government should come to our aid and save us from total extinction.
This place was an ancient cemetery, but now a part of the St. Nicholas River. Considering the current and impact of the erosion on our land, where will our children live and where will we run to? Government, please help us.
What is left of some buildings are stones almost covered by the surging sea, while stumps are visible reminders of a huge mass of land once inhabited by a forest. This building was admired in Odioama, but today it is a wreck due to consistent lashing of the waves, and now it is decapitated with the walls waiting to fall.
The age of 15, I see many houses over that area. You can see the relics of some of those buildings. That is why we call it Oudo, but formerly they used to call it Odioama. By the grace of the Almighty God, you people are here today. Maybe through your efforts, the government will come and do a new thing we have not seen before. If not, we say Odioama is being submerged by the force of the ocean. We need soil protection.
The Bayelsa State Ministry of Environment is aware of the challenges confronting coastal communities, including the Kingdom of Odioama.
It's a global phenomenon. We target climate change. Sadly, Odioama is now at the precipice because of the incidence of sea level rise, and the federal government need to know Bayelsa terrain. Of the 21 tributaries that are in the Niger Delta, only Bayelsa has 13, and it needs adequate adaptation and mitigation efforts. And it needs robust collaboration between the federal government and the state government. As a matter of fact, the state government cannot cope tackling adaptation programs and projects related to sea level rise. It's difficult for the state government.
I watch as the waves gradually drift ashore, with the waters eating up the land of Odioama. Now the cry of the people is intended to draw the attention of the state and federal government to their plight, hoping for the utilization of the ecological fund to save their land. But more importantly, the concern of the elderly is if the next generation would be able to find a community they can call their own. Ofieteme George, Arise News.
Wow.
You just wonder what the interventionist agency or agencies
I really do. I know
the
that
federal government set up, which is metamorphosed to NDDC. Why wouldn't they do a short line?
But even beyond the NDDC, I know that ecological funds have been put aside to actually ensure that all of this is actually avoided, really.